Welcome, artists, to Monet Cafe Studio and this lesson called Painting Beyond the Reference in Soft Pastel. I believe that true art is about interpreting a scene and not feeling bound by it. So this is a bit of a continuation of our previous 3 lessons where I have been teaching you how to transform a reference image with respect to color palettes. And I've been using the color cube to get these beautiful color swatches. But this lesson, I'm going to go even further beyond the reference. This is my reference, and we're going to zone out on the color and choose a new color palette as we have done before. But this time, I'm going to teach more specifically on how you can go beyond the reference even when it comes to compositional elements. So in this lesson, I'll be teaching on how you can change a scene like this, a bright sunny day with yellow flowers, into a night scene. I'm going to be changing a lot of these elements, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Let's start with the products. I'm using the same surface I've obviously used for the previous 3 paintings, and it's one of my favorites lately. It's Canson Mi-Teintes Velvet, and I'm using this pad that's the larger pad. I think it's like 12 by 16 inches, and it has various shades of gray. Wasn't that a book? I did not read that book. And I'm using the lighter gray surface. As you can see, I've divided it into equal sections of 7 inches by 5 inches. This is obviously before I started all of the paintings. Now here is my palette. As you can see, I have chosen a little card from the color cube. I liked these deep night moody colors, and I really wanted to do a night scene. I tried to make each of the paintings quite different from each other. So you see I have a lot of nice blues and some that lean a little bit more teal, and I basically use those little color prompts that are on the card to choose different values within each color family, also choosing some that are a bit more neutral and some that are a bit more saturated. So now it's time to paint. I am speeding this up a little bit. If you're a patron of mine, you're getting the slower speeds. Most of my other ones before this were all real time, but these aren't sped up too much. But if you're on the Monet Cafe channel, the lesson is going to be sped up quite a bit more. But you can always become a patron if you like on my Patreon page. I'll tell you how to do that later. I've superimposed the reference image here and converted it to black and white because we're trying to ignore the color. We're just using this new color palette. You can see it over there to my left. And as you can see, I'm still giving a feeling of some mountains in the distance. You can see that in the reference image. But I decided to add some other levels of depth, and let's make some evergreen trees. And they're not all that hard to do. You just make kind of like a vertical shape. I like to make mine sometimes leaning. I wanted this scene to feel dramatic, so I'm giving my tree shapes some drama and leaning them in various directions, and also varying, obviously, the size as distance increases. And again, an evergreen tree is not all that hard. You make a vertical line and you make some zigzaggy shapes on the side. And I'm not going to focus on, this is just the blocking in stage. So all I'm focusing on is getting some value in here. Oh, by the way, this pastel is just a little Prismacolor new pastel. It's the color that's called Spruce Blue. They don't sell it individually anymore, but you can get it in some of the sets. You could use any dark pastel for this, but I'm making a little idea of a road, and all I do to get different values, lightness and darkness, is by varying my pressure. So my pressure was a little harder for that little road shape and a little lighter for just layering over some of those grassy field areas. I now have a nice little neutral blue. It's still a little bit dark, not as dark as the Prismacolor new pastel, just to get a little bit more depth in that foreground field that's kind of rolling towards the viewer. Now this is a beautiful pastel. I believe this might be a Sennelier pastel. It's a little bit more green. Can you feel that? And you probably already noticed I forgot at the beginning, I didn't make those distant mountains. I decided to make these more like hills rolling into the distance. So already right there, I've changed the reference image. So no mountains in this one. I changed the mountains to hills, and I'm going to have a little bit more of the sky showing. So now I had a little bit of blue that I put down on that distant hill to make it feel far away. And then I gently am layering this green on top. And this is the beauty of layering with pastels. I'm not pressing so hard that those underneath layers don't show through. So remember to keep a light touch. Now I'm reinforcing that little road, the feeling of a trail underneath. This is a compositional element that's just going to pull the viewer in. I love creating depth with my paintings. This is a dark, gorgeous, almost like a midnight sky blue. This is a Terry Ludwig pastel. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And I often like to put a little darker area on the lower part of a hill that's in shadow to give it depth. Now I'm adding this dark Terry Ludwig, pretty dark blue, into some of the trees, specifically those foreground closest trees. And I think I switched the pastel here. Yes, this is a different one. It's not as dark as that first one. It's a blue that leans a little bit teal. And the reason I'm going just a tad lighter for those distant trees is because value gets lighter in the distance. And so I wanted it to be a little lighter than the foreground trees. Now I'm using that same pretty little ochre green. I think that's the same one. It might be, no, I think this one was a little darker. And now I'm getting a little bit of a cooler. Oh, I am adding a mountain. Look at that. I forgot. I'm doing a voiceover now. So I just add a little bit of that blue and voila. Isn't that amazing? All of a sudden I have the feeling of a mountain, a low-lying mountain in the distance or a low hill. All right, I want to get the area of where I'm putting my sun. I never feel like I have to make a perfect circle. I did kind of make a circle here, but I added the lightest value first, and now I'm adding a little bit of a glow around it, just with some little almost like linear kind of mark making going around the sides. And that's the goal here, is to have this moon that's glowing, and I'm even going to have a little bit of that reflecting onto the land. I liked this little peachy color. It's kind of almost like a peachy lavender color, just to get a little more light around the moon. And I decided to get this blue pastel that was actually the mountain color that I used. And I want to get my upper sky and the corners of the upper part darker. This is going to be a night scene. So where the moon is glowing is going to be lighter, but it's going to gradually change in value from light to dark as we get higher and outwards from the sun. Oh, and I realized I needed a little bit of a darker, warm color. It wasn't that gorgeous. I love that pretty little color. And I'm really experimenting with color as I go along. And this one I did go a bit beyond what was in the little color cube card, and I decided to add a little purple. This is a pretty purple. It's like a warm purple to the sky. I end up layering on top of that, but the little influence kind of shows through with that layering technique I was telling you about. And so I add a little more golden color around the moon. And I am using now a lighter kind of lavender pink. The closer you are to the moon, the lighter the values will be, and the warmer the color temperature will be. But I need to make a nice transition between the warm and the cool. And often lavenders do that quite well. Again, I do believe I'm going to layer over this a bit, but I really liked that little pink lavender glow that will have an influence, even though I'm going to layer more on top. Now, this is an even darker pastel. I just got and now I went lighter, but I got a little bit of that in the upper corner. Again, as the distance increases going upward in a sky, the value gets darker and the colors get cooler. I always say, think of it as going up into space. It gets cooler, right? Color temperature gets cooler and it gets darker and colder in space. So you can see I carved in a little bit of blue in between some of the tree branch shapes there. That's called negative painting or painting sky holes. Now I'm playing with this little purple color, and I'm just layering some of that over some of the blues I've already put down. And now I'm trying still just to get this transition between warm and cool. Again, I'm going to be going kind of like from blues gradually to purples and gradually to pinks, and then to the warm colors of the moon. And I want to share here while I paint a bit. I did not know how to do any of this when I was first pastel painting. It's a miracle I ended up continuing to paint. Oh, I kind of covered up my distant mountain there because I had such struggles. This was back before, I don't even think YouTube was a thing. And I was trying so hard to figure things out. I almost quit. I bought pastels from a craft store and they were terrible. And I was comparing my work to other artists. So I have learned everything the hard way. And I didn't know how to do any of this, but I love to share these things to give artists hope, because if I can do it, you can do it. And it's all just a learning process. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, but guess what? You learn through your mistakes as well. All right, you can see I'm layering over that pink with a little bit of this purple, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of a transition going on here. The pink is still gently showing through, and but I'm getting my sky a little bit more like a night scene now, and just keeping that moon glowing though. And part of the point of this lesson is going beyond the reference. And I will tell you that it is one of the most enjoyable ways to paint when you do get to that point to where you're not so afraid to try something and you're not quite sure sometimes how it's going to turn out. To me, that's part of the fun. I'm like, I don't know. And then you can just change your mind and try something different as long as you follow a few simple rules. Now you can see I just added that pretty little orangey color. Again, I mentioned before that I was going to have the moon, obviously, its light is going to be reflected onto the land. So I'm playing around with a little bit of the colors in the moon glow there. You can see me using this blue. Again, it's a blue that's a little bit warm, a little more teal, and I'm gently layering it, connecting the cool, warm transition. And now, can you see how that pink and purple is still glowing through that blue? Now I'm using the same blue just to get a little bit of shadows behind the trees. I know that that moon is a source of light, and it's going to create a bit of a shadow behind elements because it is behind the trees. Now, this is where in the Monet Cafe version, if you're seeing it, I'm going to speed it up quite a bit, and I'm going to tell you how to become a patron of mine to get the slower speeds and all of the other content I always have on Patreon. But don't go anywhere. Those of you viewing on my YouTube channel, I have plenty of content coming right after this. So to get all the extra content I'm always talking about in my videos, it's super easy. Becoming a patron of mine on my Patreon page is only $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. I love the fact that I get to see your work. There are game challenges, prizes, and so much more. Now, while I got you here, a quick little favor. If you could click that like button on this video, and I would love it if you would leave me a comment. Of course, subscribe. All of those things help YouTube to share my video more often. All right, let's get back to this painting. So at this point, I am speeding things up quite a bit, but I want to talk you through some of my process. This is a point where I feel like I have a great foundation for the painting. And now is when I would like to share with you the basic principles, artistic principles that will allow you to go beyond the reference as I have done. Now, my thumbnail caption for this video was I ignored the reference image, and I pretty much did, but I did use it for inspiration. But you can see this is so dramatically different than the reference image. And I think I stated this earlier. I can't remember if this was in the Patreon version, but I could not have done this when I was first soft pastel painting. I didn't know these simple rules. And the rules are basically the rules of nature, the rules of physics. And once you learn how light behaves and how light and shadow behave, color, temperature, and value, how it behaves in a real life scenario, you can take your images, your reference images, or whether you're painting from life, and make them your own. You can change the time of day. You can change whether there's a mountain in the distance, the position of the light source, or even adding a moon, as I have done in this image. Now, in the Patreon version of this video, I'm talking more about the techniques I'm using, like adding the shadows behind the trees and all of that. But here, as I'm painting, I just did a light little blending with my hand just to soften things just there. But here in this video, I'd like to share with you 3 things that will help you to reinterpret a reference image. And there's simple rules. I always say painting is easy once you know the rules, and these aren't all that hard. The first one I'll share is an important one. It's consider the light. In every painting, you should consider the source of your light. That is going to determine how the light is going to behave in your painting, where shadows will be. And I highly recommend that you examine nature. Look everywhere you're going. I find that when we're artists, it causes us to look at the world more like a kid again and more purposefully. The next is color temperature. And these are things I'm talking about in all of my videos. So if you want more knowledge of this, just watch more of my videos. But once you learn a few simple rules about color temperature and how it behaves, you're going to be able to reinterpret images based on, like I always say, the laws of nature, the laws of physics. And color temperature has a lot to do with the first one I just shared. Consider the light. Your color temperatures are going to be warmer, closer to a light source, typically, and cooler in the shadows or further away from a light source. And you can see that displayed right here in my painting. I decided to make my moon a bit warm, as you can see, but it is reflecting down on the land. And obviously, even though color temperature typically gets cooler with distance, that's another principle of color temperature. Typically, it's warmer in the foreground and cooler in the distance. But in this case, our light source is down low on the horizon, and it's basically causing a warm glow onto the land. So I was able to reinterpret this scene based on just that simple observation. Now let's talk about the third one, another one I talk about all the time. That is value, which simply means how light or dark something is, or whatever the range is in between there. And there's another simple rule of nature that will basically help you determine where your lights, middle values, and darks will be. And a lot of it has to do with perspective. Many of these rules have to do with the distance in a painting. And that's what we're trying to create, is this illusion of depth on a flat two-dimensional surface. So we're recreating what's in nature and using those principles to give that depth and that three-dimensional feel. And the way we do that with value is understanding that typically in a landscape, values are going to be darker in the foreground and lighter in the distance. There's a principle called aerial perspective, and that's best demonstrated by thinking of mountains in the distance. If you have mountains that aren't that far, you can usually see that they're a little bit darker than the ones that are even further away. They get lighter and lighter as distance increases. And again, I share these principles all the time in my lessons. So if you're a newbie here, just watch more lessons. I have tons of free lessons here on my YouTube channel. And wow, this has been such a fun month of exploring color. The theme was called Color Stories. And so that's why I decided to do all of these different color palettes with one reference image. I'm zooming in here so you can see the final. I'm excited about the theme for May. That is going to be announced on May 1st. So if you're seeing this video right around that time, keep an eye out for the new theme. And oh, if you're a patron of mine, we have a fun game challenge coming. You guys have been loving the game challenges and prizes, of course. All right. I have been zooming into this final, obviously, giving you guys a closer look, and it is always my dream and my goal to just inspire artists to give soft pastels a try. I think you'll fall in love with them like I have, and it is such a beautiful medium. Here's a little recap of the 4 paintings. I turned my lights on really bright. They look a little light here from this month, and it was a beautiful journey. So again, looking forward to May and the new theme. I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll become a patron if you would like to get the extra content. Please subscribe, leave me a comment, and as always, God bless and happy painting.